Taylor Smith, 18 years old, was admitted a month ago with severe aggression, conduct disorder, depression, and borderline personality disorder. Since her admission, she has struggled with controlling her behavior and taking responsibility for her actions. She also struggles with coming to terms with her past behavior, most seriously when she hit her mother with a bat and broke her arm. She continues to maintain that she was not responsible for that event, and whenever it is brought up in therapy session, she gets very upset and claims that if it really was her fault, then she will never be able to get better and she will always be in trouble. She claims to have no control over behavior and never will. Come in. Hey, Taylor.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
Great. Tell me a little bit about how your day's been. What's been going on?
It's been the same old. It's been, the same routine. Nothing new.
Okay. Just going to school, doing your work, all that type of stuff? Okay. All right. Well, today I thought it would be helpful for us to participate in a role-playing exercise. Do you understand what it means to role-play?
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay. All right. Well, is it something you think you'd be willing to try?
Sure.
Okay. When we role play, we're going to act out sort of like a scene, but spontaneously, so there's no script or anything like that. But before we get started, do you need me to, I know you've been in here a few times, but do you need me to go over the confidentiality information again about what's shared between us during session?
No, I think I have a good grasp on it.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, okay. So in this role-playing situation, I'm going to be you, and I want you to be like one of our peers here at Three Rivers. And we can have a conversation about anything you want, but I'm going to probably become upset while we're talking, okay? But you just, like I said, just act as if you were a normal peer, talking to yourself. I'm going to be you. And like I said, it can be about any type of conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you can initiate the conversation at any time, and I'll just play along with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Taylor, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good.
What have you been up to?
Oh, nothing.
How's your mom doing?
She's fine. I don't know why you'd ask me that though.
Oh, we were, you were talking with her last week on the phone, and so, I just thought
Yeah, but I don't understand why you'd ask me about my mom. She's just really important to me. You don't know anything about my mom. I don't know why you'd ask about my mom.
Well, it's a simple question.
Yeah, but I don't know why you'd say those things about my mom. It's insulting for you to even bring up my mom to me. You don't know anything about her. I don't understand why you get so upset.
Well, I'm getting upset because you're getting upset.
Yeah, but it's just not your responsibility to be talking about my mom. You shouldn't bring up those things, and you shouldn't, you shouldn't just know you don't talk about people's parents. It's just not an appropriate question to ask people.
As it's appropriate to ask about your mom.
Okay, all right, so let's stop there for a second, okay? Okay, so I brought up the idea of role-playing, this type of exercise, because in our past sessions, we've talked a little bit about, the incident with your mom, and more specifically, the experiences you've had here while you've been at Three Rivers. The verbal and physical altercations you've had with your peers. So I guess what I want you to start with is sort of just tell me a little bit right now how you feel about those situations. What are your feelings about them?
What happened with my mom?
Yeah.
With her breaking me breaking her arm. It's not really my fault that I did that, because, it just happened, and I want to go back home. I want to see her again, and I want us to live, like we were before, we were happy at one point.
Okay. How do you feel about the situations with your peers?
With my peers, let's see. Yeah. It's the same thing. They could control their actions. If they say something, and then if I just lose it, and then I just go at them. I mean, it's not my fault.
Okay, so you say they can control your actions, and that implies that you can't? Is that what you're sort of saying?
Kinda.
Okay. Okay. So what I hear so far from this sort of conversation is that the situation with your mom, you don't feel like it was your fault, and while you understand that you have like issues getting upset and things like that, you don't feel like you can control them, and you feel like you're not going to be able to control them. And that's sort of the part with your peers. You know, they could control their actions, well, you can't, so why don't they? But you also want to return home to your mom. Is that all that right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't control my, yeah, no.
Okay.
I mean, it just comes out.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope you know that, like, I do really want you to achieve your goal of returning home to your mom. You know, I don't want you to be here any longer than you have to be. So I really want to spend a little bit of day talking about your thoughts and your feelings and your behaviors and how those are sort of all connected together. Because when you start to feel a little bit out of control or angry, that often has to do with what you're thinking or what you're feeling. And so today in session, it'll be maybe a little bit important for us to consider how you feel or what you're thinking before, during, and after you have these incidences with your peers, or like the incidents you had with your mom. You know, what was going through your mind before that just automatic response you had when you get upset? And often that's kind of difficult to pinpoint because we're not always aware of what, you know, we're thinking in response to our behaviors. But we're going to need to try our hardest to try to identify them, because the first step in overcoming those negative thoughts is to know what they are. You know, we have to get over them to be able to stop them from occurring. So in the instance of that role playing, for example, I got very upset when I was pretending to be you when, you know, you as a peer brought up my mom, and I got very, very angry and very upset very quickly over something very small. So in that instance, maybe you'd have to think about, am I really angry at this peer and something they really are saying, or is it something I'm thinking that's making me upset at them? So tell me a little bit about what you feel or what you are thinking when you start to get angry.
Well, I mean, when I hear something, and then if I don't like it, and then it's just like all my emotion and everything, like I just blow. I mean, these thoughts and feelings, and so I mean, and then I just automatically do the first thing that comes to my mind, and usually that's, you know, I hit someone, or yeah, I mean, I don't have control over it, like.
Okay. So when you say like all of these feelings like blow, they all explode, there has to be something that sets off that explosion. So what's something, maybe if you think about like the last time you got in a fight with someone, what was maybe like something you were thinking? You know, think really hard about it. What was maybe something you could identify?
Well, this one person asked me about like my shirt, and then I got mad because they're probably thinking that, you know, my shirt is ugly when it's not.
Okay. Okay. So you're thinking that you were upset that maybe they thought your shirt was ugly, and that was what set you off. What about with the role play exercise? Like when I was pretending to be you, what do you think I might have been thinking that made me get so upset at you as a peer?
Maybe you didn't have a good conversation with your mom.
Okay, yeah, great, yeah.
Or you guys aren't in a good, you know, you guys aren't on good terms right now.
Okay, yeah, that's great. So maybe that's what I was thinking about our bad relationship. So when you brought it up, that just right away made me angry. Okay. So let me ask you this question. If you feel like your behavior is uncontrollable and you feel like you can't have control over your behavior, how is that going to affect your goal of returning home to your mom?
Well, If I continue to lash out at other people, then I guess I don't think I'll be able to see my mom again because she put me here because I hit her. And if I go back home, and then I'll probably hit her again if something happens. And so, yeah, I don't think she'll want me back unless I change.
Okay. All right, good. So I want you to consider a little bit about how maybe it's possible that your feelings about something, about, you know, the fact that your mom put you here, or that you're upset about that, how that might impact your behavior. So it really feels like your inability to have control over your feelings or emotions or your behaviors is more about like what decision you want to have about that control. Does that make sense to you a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. So looking back on that role play again, do you think that my reaction to your questions was, you know, made sense with what you were asking me?
No. I mean, because you got upset about like something so small and trivial. Like,
Okay.
I was asking about your mom, and then you went ballistic. You went off the wall.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So something very small and made into something very large, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that's something that maybe you do sometimes?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, it's really good, Taylor. Like, it's very difficult to be self-aware and to think about the way that we behave and how that might affect our actions. It's not always easy to identify those things. So, so it's good that you can think that maybe